Question 5, please address the allegations against you from previous districts, specifically the one before Alsea School District. Oh, great question. Happy to do it. So in my tenure as superintendent, I tend to see things that are wrong and address them. And oftentimes that can be very disruptive to the people who are benefiting from the things that are wrong. And it's no different. I was in Alsea School District for 11 years, an incredible, awesome run of service. I was the longest serving superintendent. No superintendent in the 80-year history of the district had ever lasted more than 3 years. So the fact that I was there for 11 years is beyond remarkable. And what caused that success in tenure is I went into the system, and inevitably as a superintendent, you have automatic naysayers because you're new, and obviously you have new ideas and you want to make changes, and there's always that resistance. Alsea was in a situation where they had 117 students. And when I left and when I resigned, we had nearly 1,000. And success is an important thing. So you always want to structure things in which you are pointing out things that need to be improved. At the same time, you want to balance that with results that real people can see. And that's an example in Alsea. Now, the situation in Alsea involves 2 disgruntled employees who have levied many threats, many of which I've documented, because they were not having that success in tenure. And they did not agree with some of the positions that I was leading the district in. Here are some of the disagreements. They disagreed that our schools should try to stay open. Well, we ended up staying open. And for that, I garnered the criticism of, he's closed-minded and he doesn't accept anyone else's ideas. Well, again, I'm a superintendent. I'm looking at the majority of my parents. It's never 100%, but the majority of my parents appreciated our school staying open and staying open safely. And it goes on and on. One of them claims to be an assistant superintendent. That title was never given to them, but that's what they wanted, and they coveted that. And so the thing is, you can't have that kind of aspect driving a district and generating relationships. Now I'm running for governor, so that makes me a very big target. And these folks don't like that because they don't fit with my political ideology in which government exists to serve the people. They have a tendency, these 2, I've worked with them for years, they had a tendency to see things kind of negatively. And I like to look at all people and all students and all parents based on their potential and their strengths. And as governor, that's what I'm going to do for all of Oregonians. Now, if you're doing good work, like keeping your school open during COVID, taking on a governor, pointing out fraud in OHA, advocating to get schools and sports open because kids were depressed and so many were trying to harm themselves, and then talking about that publicly, you are going to upset people who see things the other way. And again, all I can tell people is you have to be willing to risk scrutiny. I am very good at risking scrutiny. I'm very comfortable in my own skin. I believe that the fruits of my work speak for themselves. And what are those fruits from past districts and past dust-ups of controversy? Every time, over time, there's a process, and every time it comes out where I'm exonerated, where people say, on the whole, this guy did more good than harm. And these investigative processes created a list of facts that show that his behaviors and his actions were actually beyond justified, if anything, sometimes, every now and then, oftentimes, heroic. And that's what we need. We need real leadership then in which the leader says, I'm going to do this even though it exposes me to scrutiny. Being exposed to scrutiny is critical if you want real change to happen. And we need leaders that are able to do that. We see that nationwide, like Ron DeSantis in Florida. That guy is willing to take scrutiny. He takes it every day. But look at the fruits of his actions. Florida is a booming state, and freedom exists in all corners of it, even in some of those counties that are blue and Democrat run. Liberty reigns in Florida. Well, liberty is going to reign in Oregon again with the support of people. If you want real action and real change, if you want the government to be on your side in terms of being a citizen in Oregon, and to hear a government that represents all people, not through lip service like we have now, but through real action that people can see, then I would argue that I am by far the best choice for that, because my track record, the fruits of my work, show that. Every district I've been in has been better when I left it. All of them continue to thrive in my absence. All of them, Wallowa, Yoncalla, and Alsea, were in decline when I took over. So we're going to do the same with the state of Oregon. Our government is in decline, and we are going to restore it back to proper function and proper balance. I know that was a long answer, but there's a lot to talk about. So again, the other thing too, by the way, is if you're going to lead and threaten the progressive left, you will be under woke attack, and it's the same drill every time. You're a sexual harasser, you're a hostile work guy, you're a racist, you're a bigot, you're a homophobe. And then the reality of the facts, however, is nothing could be farther from the truth. In Alsea, we thrive because we created an environment where all kids, regardless of any of those indices I just read, were supported, and good behaviors were rewarded, and bad behaviors were called out, and accountability befell. That's the kind of relationship we need to have once again back here in Oregon. And then we need to ride or surf the wave of scrutiny, because it's only through conflict and scrutiny that we can arrive at the truth. And the truth always prevails. And I want to encourage every Oregonian to understand that. And the truth does set you free. Thank you.